I've been trying to make this video for quite some time now. I ran a rough version of it, and I invited some key people to give me feedback on it. I had a focus group on the video that I made before. So this is the revised edition of this video. And today I want to talk about that black people need to lawyer up. That means that black people need to hire lawyers in nearly 90% of the cases where they complain, whine, or do marches. Thank you for watching the Chicago Live show. Let me give you a couple of scenarios, and then I'm going to tell you how I think it should be handled. Okay, case number one, scenario A. Police break into a house, pull a black man from his bed, handcuff him on the street. He's barefoot and it's 10 degrees outside. And then they not only find out that it is the wrong guy that they have in handcuffs, it's the wrong address altogether. As the police are leaving and they tell him that he's free to go, although they bust down his door and all that sort of stuff, he's grinning and thanking the police that he wasn't the one that they were looking for. And the neighbors, who the police broke down their fences to get to the guy's house, are also thanking the police and thanking God and all this sort of stuff. And thanking everybody and just grinning okay, scenario number B. Police break into a house, pull a white man from his bed. Stop. The white man demands to see a warrant. Then he demands to call a lieutenant, sergeant, captain to the scene to prove that he is the one on the warrant. Not only that, he sues the police for breaking into his house. The neighbors who the police bust down their fences sue the police. Not only that, all of the neighbors in the neighborhood who came out to the street just to see what was going on sue for pain and anguish of having to witness the police come onto their street. Now, that is the appropriate reaction, not the grinning. And you might as well be painted in blackface. Case number 2, scenario A. Police stop a black man in a car, demand everyone in the car get out, handcuff everyone for safety, search the car, and then they may or may not plant drugs in the car and arrest everyone. If they don't plant it, and they find absolutely nothing in the car, they then hand the driver and everybody in the car a ticket for trumped up charges. All right? And then the black people just go, oh, sorry, and thank you for letting us go and not arresting us. Scenario number B. Police stop a white man in the car. Stop! He had run a red light right in front of the police. He rolled down his window an inch, handed him his documentation, and said, "Why are you stopping me?" Well, you ran a red light right in front of me. I mean, there's no trump up charges here. You literally ran a red light right in front of me. He does not agree to get out of the car, and neither does anybody else in the car. He does not agree to any searches of the car, which is unconstitutional to begin with. The officer comes back, gives him back his documentation, and lets him off with a warning. And he goes about his merry way. Now, that scenario where the white man was stopped and ran the red light, that actually happened while I was in the car. I did not agree to get out of the car either, because I know my constitutional rights. Now, that is the appropriate way. Why did you stop me? The police walk up and says, "You know why I stopped you? Oh, did I run a red light? Did I go fast? Was I speeding in a child zone? Was I doing this? Can I confess to all sorts of other charges? You don't confess. You keep your mouth closed. And that's what a lawyer would tell you. If you were used to being around lawyers, you would know that that's what they would say. But black people are not used to being around lawyers. They formulate marches. And they call Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton and cry on their shoulders. Meanwhile, they have to come up with $30,000, $60,000 to get Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton to show up. And Queen Latifah or whoever wants to show up. And then they have a march. You know what a march accomplishes? Absolutely nothing. Your child is still in jail. Your child is still dead. The neighborhood is still shot up. You need to start suing. You need to get a lawyer. And what you need to do instead of marching, so here's a scenario where your child is shot dead by the police. You call Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton or whatever a local black schlep you can find to go formulate a march. And so people literally take off of work, black people take off of work and have a march, and they walk down the street yelling some stupid chant that is not going to accomplish anything. And instead of them losing the money from not going to work, because black people, let's face it, you can't afford to take off from work. What you should do instead is take the money that you would have lost from taking off of work and donate it to that person's legal defense fund, lawsuit fund. That's what you need to be doing. And then hire a lawyer. Everybody pool your resources and hire a lawyer. If a police come in and tear down the door, you need to go see what is going on. Why are you tearing down that person's door? Why are you breaking into that person's door? I'm a good law-abiding citizen, and I know that person is too. Why are you breaking down his door? What's your name? What's your badge number? And I'm calling your sergeant. You need to get involved. Instead of you hiding in your cubby hole. Oh, I'm glad they're not coming here. I'm glad they're not coming here. Master, please don't come here. You need to be calling the sergeant and the lieutenant and the captain and say, why are you on my street? You have some thugs over here breaking into somebody's house. Why are you on the street? Do you know what's going on? Why are they here? That's what you need to be doing. Not marching on the street while you are cringing in your house. While you're cringing in your house, you have no idea that the police are there illegally to begin with and have no business there, and they go in and they shoot people. You need to be on the phone. You need to be calling the sergeant, the captain, the commissioner. These police are here breaking down the door of some law-abiding citizen. Why are they here? You could be saving lives instead of hiding. You need to challenge the police, not hide from them. And if you're really true about it, why don't you get a gun too? If everybody in the black neighborhood got a gun, first of all, the crime rate would drop because the word would get out, oh, you can't go into the Jenkins house. They got guns. They will shoot you. And if you get too close, they will shoot you, drag you inside the house and say you broke in. That's how you handle it. That's your constitutional right. Instead of you voting for the city council like Chicago, and then they turn around and say, oh, no guns. So that leaves all the black people completely at the mercy of the criminals. You need to lawyer up, black people. What is wrong with you? This is not 1800. You're not picking cotton. You're not being whipped by a whip. You're not being renamed by the slave master. You're not having the little nightly visits from the slave master to go rape all the women to come out with half-white babies. Those days are over. And if those days are over, they need to be permanently over. Do you understand that white people do not consider you to be Americans. And that's why your constitutional rights are not observed. We don't need to observe black people's constitutional rights. They're not really American. They were brought here as slaves. They just haven't left. They just haven't returned. We haven't sent them back. That's all that's going on. Until you stand up with some backbone and let me touch on the thuggish element of the black community. Those people who call them, they're so hard. And they're so hard. And then when police come around, they go, ooh, they act like, oh my God, they act like, the 1800s. Oh, yes, sir, master. Yes, sir, master. I'm sorry, master. Yeah, what? And crying. Or the other way, the other extreme. I'm hard. I'm going to have a shootout with the police. What? No. There'll be no shootouts with police. There will be a grabbing your cell phone and calling your lawyer. That's what you need to do. My baby's been shot. I'm going to put it in the Lord's hands. And when has the Lord ever sent a police that shot your baby to jail or to the electric chair? Never. Has never happened. Has never happened. And let me, on my last point, educate you on what a policeman is. A policeman is the enforcement arm of the government. That means for all of the laws and regulations, and that includes a lot of regulations, he is there to physically present intimidation. Understand that the police, their job is to intimidate you, to get you into doing something. That's their job. So when you look at a policeman, you don't say, oh, he's there to protect blah. No, he's there to physically intimidate you, to get you to do stuff. He has no authority. I know that is going to blow some of you all's minds, right? He has absolutely no authority. He doesn't press charges. He doesn't bring charges. He doesn't bring convictions or anything like that. He recommends charges against you. He can arrest you. He has to have a really good reason to arrest you. He can arrest you. Yes, that's more the intimidation factor. But he doesn't actually bring charges. You know who brings charges? The district attorney. And the district attorney is a lawyer, right? So you need to get a lawyer to fight the lawyer. That's who you need to fight. The police are not the people to fight. You don't need to have shootouts with the police. They have zero authority. And until you understand that, until you get a clear understanding of what a policeman actually is, and then maybe you can start approaching this entire life in America as a black person differently. A policeman has no authority, right? So he can't bring charges, he can't do any of that stuff. So you need to get a person who is going to combat the real evil that is going on. It's the district attorney who's doing the stuff. It's the judge who is also a lawyer doing the stuff. And you need to get somebody in your court, on your side, to take care of that. It's not another policeman. A policeman is not going to fight a policeman. You need a lawyer to fight the lawyer. That's who you need to get. And you need to lawyer up. We need to have a legal defense fund instead of a march. We need to get lawyers on retainer instead of a march, instead of a complaint. Whining and complaining does nothing until you are going down to City Hall yourself to get legislation passed, or if you're going to the state capitol to get legislation passed, and black people don't understand this, this is how politics works. You go down to the city hall, you go down to the state legislature, and you get laws passed, or you get laws taken away. That's how this game is run. You need to understand how the game is run. So, black people need to lawyer up. Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show. Please subscribe and comment. Like the video so that other people can see it. Thank you.